Well, they don't look like me. They don't talk like me. They don't look like me. And they don't talk like me. They don't look like me. And they don't talk like me.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special 101 style episode of The Comic Shop. A little bonus treat for you this week. To celebrate the opening of Captain America, the first Avenger, in theaters this Friday, we're going to do a little 101 style episode to break down some key points to get you ready for this hot new film coming out this Friday. But of course, I can't do this on my own. I need a partner in crime, a PIC, if you will. So that's why I'm bringing Eugene Capon onto the mic right now.
He considers me his Robin to Batman.
Yes, you will wear the little green spandex, and you'll be happy about it. So there.
Just don't make me slide down any poles.
Look, sometimes to fight the bad guys, you gotta slide down a few poles, Eugene.
It's lame.
I'm just saying. So yeah, we're gonna talk about obviously the synopsis. We're gonna talk about some characters. What are they doing in the film? What are their abilities? Just the real nuts and bolts of this thing, so that you go in well prepared.
And then maybe we have some predictions.
Maybe you'll get a bonus prediction. Maybe not. I don't want to give it all away too soon, Robin.
So you know what? Let's tell the people a little bit about the movie. Like what's the main story?
The synopsis, if you will. In 1942, Steve Rogers is deemed physically unfit to enlist in the U.S. Army and fight the Nazis in World War II. Volunteering instead for Project Rebirth, a secret military operation, he is physically transformed into a super soldier dubbed Captain America. With his sidekick Bucky Barnes, he fights the Red Skull, Hitler's treacherous head of advanced weaponry, whose own plan for world domination includes a seemingly magical object known as the Cosmic Cube. Bum, bum, bum. So yeah,
and you know what,
that's straight from Marvel, folks. So,
and you know what, if you happen to have seen Thor, right after the credits, you have a scene with Samuel L. Jackson and the Cosmic Cube.
You do a nice little nugget there for you at the end of the film. So hopefully, I'm assuming you've all seen Thor.
I believe it's called an Easter egg.
An Easter egg, you say? I like that. That sounds better. That sounds more efficient. So if you haven't seen Thor yet, go see Thor. Come on, man.
First of all, let's talk about Steve Rogers.
He's the man.
Captain America. You know, he's portrayed by Chris Evans, which I'm not sure if it was probably the best choice in actors. He's best known for Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four movies. But he was also in Scott Pilgrim, Push, Losers. He played the quarterback in Not Another Teen Movie. You know, he's this sickly young man who is basically enhanced to the peak of human perfection by the Rebirth Project.
Super Soldier Serum.
Yeah. But you know what? It's not so much that he's a superhero. He doesn't really have any superpowers. He's just brought to the fact that he is now the most perfect man alive. The most out of control strength that a normal person can have.
Yeah. Within the capabilities of a human being, he is perfection. You know, he's not like Hulk or Thor, you know, or the Thing, who have superhuman strength. You know, he's very much human, but he's just been advanced to perfection. So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more believable.
Yeah, and he's really all about some of those intangibles. Wouldn't you say, like, isn't he like a master tactician, essentially, too?
Yeah.
He's a military guy.
Yeah, and probably firearms and anything the military has to offer.
Yeah, great in hand-to-hand combat. Yeah. He's got a lot of intangibles, it seems like. He's unselfish. He's a great leader. He's honest. You know.
He's just a good guy.
He's such a nice guy. My gosh, I would totally let my daughter date him. Anyways. And I just want to be close to someone famous.
I'm pretty sure I just saw little stars in your
eyes. Little stars? Yeah, little stars.
You said that.
I gotta tell you, the thing I'm looking forward to most about Steve Rogers is...
The shield?
Yes. Tell me about the shield.
You know, the shield, it's this round piece of vibranium metal that has basically been modified and, you know, painted to really resemble the hardcore boundaries of America.
It just looks gorgeous, doesn't it?
And, you know, it flies around.
How does he use it? What does he do with it?
Both offensive and defense. You know, he uses it as a shield like he should. You know, it deflects bullets and, you know, punches and stuff. But he actually throws it around to basically knock around his enemies. And then, you know what? Because of that whole super serum, he has amazing dexterity and reflexes that it'll actually bounce back to him.
Yeah, you'll see him just throw it, and he's great at geometry. Apparently, he'll throw it and ricochet it back to himself. Like in that new clip you showed me, there's a great spot where he throws it and it ricochets and hits a Hydra officer.
Yeah, well,
you got me jacked
we'll
up.
Throw a link. We'll throw a link to a couple of clips down below.
Link it real good. All right, well, you can't have a hero without the villain. So the Red Skull is the villain. Now, he creeps me out when I look at him. I don't know about you.
Dun dun dun.
Does he look pretty scary to you?
Nah.
I mean, maybe not so much now, but because we're old and mature and stuff. But I remember seeing the Red Skull when I was younger, and he scared me. So yeah, his real name is Johann Schmidt. He's portrayed by Hugo Weaving, phenomenal actor. Matrix franchise, Lord of the Rings, V for Vendetta, voice of Megatron. You go on and on about him. But the thing you need to know about the Red Skull is he is Captain America's nemesis, and he is Adolf Hitler's head of advanced weaponry. That division is also known as Hydra, a terrorist organization.
You know what, Pat? You actually told me a very interesting story about how he basically got to where he is. Do you mind telling the people about that?
Yeah, it's a bit long, but I'll try and sum it up real quick. Essentially, he lost both of his parents when he was young, and he grew up a beggar and a thief on the streets, and he just had this hatred for humanity. And eventually, he gets a job as a bellhop at a hotel, and he gets acquainted with the Führer, Adolf Hitler, and the Hitler just sees an inner darkness in him and recruits him as his second in command, which is pretty awesome. I mean, just the chances on that. What are the odds? Apparently pretty good. But that's one way. There's other retellings, though, where he essentially is the product of the German super soldier program. So we'll see how they go about it in this film, but that's pretty much the basics. He doesn't have any super strength, per se, in the original incarnation, but in the other retellings, he did have some super strength. His main thing, though, is he has a great intellect. He's very inventive. He is great at strategy and subversion, and he's a political operative.
Let's talk about some supporting characters.
Definitely. Those are your two main, but there's a lot of other characters that are going to be important to this film.
You know, every protagonist needs a love interest, and that love interest in the movie is Peggy Carter. She's basically a freedom fighter during World War II. She's the love interest, and in some of the comic books, after Steve Rogers becomes an icicle, she actually goes on to marry Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, she does. She is the mother, of Agent 13, Sharon Carter, later on in the comics. Or it might be she's the aunt. I can't remember if it's aunt or mother, but either way, there's a connection there, which is kind of cool. Another supporting character you need to know is about the guy who helps recruit Steve for this, is Colonel Chester Phillips, played by the great Tommy Lee Jones, No Country for Old Men, Men in Black, The Fugitive. And yeah, he recruits Steve for Project Rebirth, and he's one of the main military guys. Why don't you tell me about Mr. Howard Stark showing up in this film?
Howard Stark, father of Tony Stark, better known to you all as Iron Man. He's basically portrayed by Dominic Cooper. He's involved in a bunch of military projects, and this is probably one of the biggest projects he's ever been involved with.
Oh, no doubt.
Next to, his own son, of
Hey-o.
course. Yeah. And a little bit of a treat in the second Iron Man movie when Tony Stark is basically creating the new element for his heart, you actually see the shield, the Captain America shield, being kind of torn apart a little bit underneath that he uses to prop up some of his equipment. I thought that was a nice little Easter egg.
It's less obvious, but it also shows up in the first Iron Man film. The first time that he's taking off the suit and Pepper walks in the bottom left corner on his workshop table, you can see that same shield. So it's less obvious, but it's there. Go check.
Okay. I got one better for you.
Okay.
The second, the Incredible Hulk. Not the first one. It sucked. We don't even count that one. But the one with
I got it on
Edward Norton. There's actually an alternative opening scene where he's going up to the mountains to basically commit suicide, but he hulks out, causes an avalanche, and you see Steve Rogers' body in a block of ice, falling from the avalanche.
Very faintly. You can't see the body, but you can see that shield, and it shines bright, so that's a nice little Easter egg as well that not as many people know about, which is good. But I think the interesting thing about Howard Stark is, it's not accurate to the comics, but cinematically it makes sense and helps tie together the films because given Tony's age, it's
perfect.
Yeah, he would be age appropriate during World War II, and it just really ties things together nicely. So I'm really glad that they're going that route with him.
Bucky Barnes.
Let's talk about Bucky Barnes. We mentioned him briefly earlier. He is, of course, the sidekick of Captain America, played by Sebastian Stan, and that's the basics of it. He's a childhood friend of Steve. He enlists in the military, and he gets trained up, and he becomes his sidekick.
Yeah. later on, he actually becomes Winter Soldier
Yes, he does.
when he grows up and goes out from underneath the shield of Captain America.
That's right. He's stepping out on his own. He's wearing the big boy pants. Why don't you tell me about the man who makes this all possible? Dr. Abram, I believe it's Erskine. The guy
Oh.
Yeah, tell me about him.
He's a German scientist that basically goes to the U.S., starts working for the U.S. government, develops the serum, and is one of the key molding characters for Steve. There's actually what's bound to become a very famous line, I have no doubt,
Oh, yeah.
is basically where him and Steve Rogers are basically sitting in what looks to be an infirmary. And he goes, just stay who you are. And it's very powerful. Obviously, Steve kind of takes that to heart, and even after the life-changing event of Project Rebirth, he really does stay that kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's about changing his physical capabilities, not his beliefs and who we are as a person. So
Yeah.
that's great. Next up, Captain America can do a lot on his own, but he needs some help too. So we got the Howling Commandos. They are an elite special unit of the U.S. Army Rangers who are helping him out.
Pat, who's on that list?
I'll tell you, good sir, it is my favorite, number one, Dum Dum to Gun, a former circus strongman who is known for his impressive skills with rifles and shooting people and kicking serious butt. So that's perfect for him. He's also well known for his trademark mustache and bowler hats. So you'll recognize him probably right away. But there's a few other guys on the team. There's Gabe Jones, Jim Morita, Jacques Dernier, and Montgomery Falsworth are also on the team. The Howling Commandos.
It's basically a UN of sub-superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we got a few other bad guys we got to talk about. The Down and Dirty. Tell me about Arnim Zola.
He's a biochemist for the Nazi Party.
Damn Nazis.
Darn the Nazis.
It's so silly sometimes. And last...
Who's Heinz Kruger?
Heinz Kruger. He's one of the Red Skull's top assassins. And he'll be portrayed by Richard Armitage.
Isn't he in The Hobbit?
He was in The Hobbit, or going to be in The
yeah.
Hobbit. Yes, they're still filming on that one. He was also in that movie Frozen. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It was pretty good. But and of course, who's going to show up?
Everyone's favorite commando or, director, spy of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson. The guy's in everything.
He truly is in everything now. I mean, before he was in everything, but now it's truly like he is in everything. So we will. I'm not sure when he's going to show up, but you got to know that Nick Fury will be popping up for sure in this one.
Oh, absolutely. And he just cracks me up.
So yeah, I mean, that's the nuts and bolts right there. That's the basics. Everything you really need to know. It's directed by Joe Johnston, and the movie's going to be about 2 hours long. Comes out on Friday.
Do we have any predictions?
Predictions? I think most of it's primarily going to take, obviously, World War II era. I think it's going to end with him, obviously, being frozen, and I think the post-credit scene is going to be him being unfrozen in modern day. That's kind of my prediction right there.
You know what? I would love to see the whole movie basically being in flashbacks, and I would like to see him being sent off to his first mission, basically to go retrieve, Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Because you've seen all the other characters, once the Avengers lineup was announced, except for the actor playing the Hulk in the next Hulk movie.
Well, I mean, in theory, technically, we've seen Bruce Banner, but we haven't seen Mark
Yeah,
Ruffalo.
we saw Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be a great film. So, you got your 101 style prep, you're ready, go see the movie, but maybe listen to this a few more times, study up.
Absolutely. Send it to your friends.
Yeah, send it to your friends. We're the Comic Shop. You can check us out every week. And check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter account and website.
Yeah. What's the website name?
Hit me.
www.thecomicshopofficial.com.
Thanks so much.
Inside the system. Cuts. Inside the system. Cuts. Connection. Cuts. Cuts. The connection.